The Pennsylvania State House Democrats won the majority again, as you will see by the chyron on the bottom as it scrolls by my head. The PA Dems win again. So what this means is that the Pennsylvania Democrats have control of the state assembly, which is important. It's important because of it's not as important if we had lost to Doug Mastriano for governor, and we're going to talk about Josh Shapiro, not Ben Shapiro, here in a second. No relation. But if we had lost the governorship, we would be in trouble if we did not hold the state house. But we flipped the state house, and that means none of the constitutional amendments that are going to be, passed by the two bodies can get on the ballot, and all this nonsense that, the Republicans would try to pass, even if we had a Democratic governor, right? That is huge. And I think it's just going to continue to show that places like Pennsylvania, obviously I'm biased. Most of the people watching this are biased. I think most of the people at this point in the audience are from Pennsylvania. But places like Wisconsin, Michigan, these are places that have been sliding blue, and not just like purple blue, like pretty consistently have been swinging blue, and that is a good sign. We lost Florida. Florida is right now like that's a sunk cost, I think, and I think we can maybe make the case Ohio might be close to that, but Ohio is something that we should start to claw back. If we start to talk in the progressive lens of workers' rights, union rights, all that stuff, right? Because some of the more mainstream Democratic talking points that progressives hold, but like I'm going to use liberals here loosely, liberals use are not the talking points that are going to win over people in central Pennsylvania or in outside of Madison, Wisconsin. Like there are certain things that you can talk to, and knowing your audience and being like, look, I'm as progressive as they come, but I'm going to talk to you about the issue that matters to you. So here is somebody that I think is actually effective at it. That is our governor, Josh Shapiro, who, humble brag, follows me on Twitter. But that's neither here nor there. He is talking about, I think he's actually in, as it says on top here, East Palestine. But Josh Shapiro, for those who don't know, was the Attorney General of Pennsylvania. And he is looking at holding Norfolk Southern, the train company that we talked about last week, accountable for the derailment, but more so like the disintegration of any sort of self-regulation, which again, self-regulation doesn't work. There's no reason for a company that would self-regulate, especially a company that doesn't interact publicly, like they don't engage with retail customers. So something like this is important. And I like seeing Democrats get on the offensive. And again, like that doesn't mean that like he's infallible. But Josh Shapiro has two different things in the last 2 weeks in the last week, I should even say, that have just been like, dude, he's crushing it. I think he has his eyes maybe a little bit higher than governor. We'll see about that. It'd be interesting to see him in a presidential primary. It would be cool to have a presidential nominee or / potential president follow you on Twitter. Twitter would probably be dissolved by then, but you never know. You never know. So here is Josh Shapiro talking about the train situation.
Administration will remain vigilant for any threats to Pennsylvanians, and we will hold accountable Norfolk Southern, the company that made this vigilance necessary. The combination of Norfolk Southern's corporate greed, incompetence, and lack of care for our residents is absolutely unacceptable to me.
I'm just going to pause it here and just say this. We're starting to see a trend here, and you may have noticed it in my coverage of leading up to the election. We're seeing a trend here that, and this is not to say that Josh Shapiro is not, a good Democrat, but Josh Shapiro is also not like, he's not AOC, right? But the emphasis on highlighting corporate greed, he says it explicitly. The same thing that Raphael Warnock said in his campaigns and Tim Ryan said in his campaigns. These are the talking points, and they are talking points. It's a broader, it's a broader critique if you want to dive into the details, but them highlighting this is corporate greed. You know why the trains are derailing? Because they're not investing in the repairs, the maintenance, the labor to keep up with what is necessary. It is greedy because they cut costs, they will privatize the revenues, and they will socialize the losses.
I've been outspoken about the serious concerns that I had with the company's failed management of this crisis. They chose not to participate in the unified command. They gave us inaccurate information and conflicting modeling data, and they refused to explore or articulate alternative courses of action when we were dealing with the derailment in the early days. In sum, Norfolk Southern injected unnecessary risk into this crisis, and they created confusion in this process. In the face of Norfolk Southern's arrogance and incompetence, I want you to know we are fighting back. We stand with the good people of Pennsylvania and Ohio, and we stand with them against this corporate greed and incompetence.
That's what we need to hear. Like this is like the changing of the guard in Democratic leadership that we need. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. Like, you don't have to be the most ultra left progressive person to hit at these issues and be good even on some of these issues. Like, that is exactly what we need to hear. He's the governor of Pennsylvania, not necessarily the governor of California or New York. So again, this is where it's like, know your audience, know who you're talking to. He's in Ohio. We're talking about the border here of Pennsylvania and Ohio. Like, this is the messaging. This is rhetoric that is going to work. This is the type of thing that we need to carry and say, you know who won in some of these red counties? Josh Shapiro and John Fetterman. So John Fetterman is more of that progressive lane. And both of them, because of the rhetoric of who they were talking to and how they were talking about it and what they were talking about and providing material benefits for the people of Pennsylvania, that is how you win elections. It is great to be good on all this stuff, all the other stuff, right? But bread and butter on the table, kitchen table issues. I mean, it's a cliche. It's not exactly how things work, but if you impact people's wallets, you impact their lives directly, and do it in a positive manner, that is how you win on election night in Pennsylvania. And that's how you do it in these swing states. Bread and butter. That's how you do it.